We have some fear. We have some FUD. Yesterday, ETFs had a massive outflow, 226 million. Unfortunately, we had 2 days now this week, 200 plus million outflow, right? BlackRock is the only one holding strong and still posting a net inflow. So that tells you something about BlackRock versus everyone else. On down days, it does seem like all the other funds besides IBIT does sell off. However, BlackRock's doesn't. So there's something going on there. You would figure BlackRock would be selling like everyone else, but they are not, because Larry Fink, I believe, has special plans, and that's why they are different. And I know even IBIT is a fund, and technically there should be inflow and outflow and so forth, but so far it's just inflow, 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 and everything that Grayscale have sold just goes directly into IBIT. There's something weird there. Okay, but regardless, despite yesterday's outflow, we still have massive amount of Bitcoin in these ETFs. We're talking about tens of billions, soon to be hundreds of billions, and soon to be trillions sitting in these ETFs. So if you're smart and you realize you can't trust money printers printing fiat all day long, well, then you'll be buying Bitcoin or Bitcoin ETFs, regardless. I mean, spot ETFs, the next best thing. There are some miners that are also selling right now. So some of you guys may have wondered why is Bitcoin not moving up for the past 3 months, even though the ETFs are having massive inflows. Well, the answer could be the miners are actually selling. And you know, if you don't know anything about the miners, you would think, well, this is pretty bearish, right? The miners are selling. That means they're getting out, and that means everyone should be getting out. Well, that's not the thing here. I remember, since I've been through some of these cycles, we see periods of time where this happens, especially after the halving event, because people don't realize the halving event puts a tremendous pressure on the miners. In fact, double the pressure, meaning they have to double the equipment, double the hash rate to just make the same amount they did before. That's why it's called a halving event, because the block reward for Bitcoin gets cut in half. Half. Not just a little bit, not just 5 or 10%, 50% drop in terms of reward. So that's why the miners, they have it the hardest. Every time we have a halving event, they basically have to figure out, well, what do we do, right? Do we double our capacity or do we increase our capacity? Now, a lot of the big guys can do that because they're publicly traded. They have shares. They could sell stock. But a lot of the smaller miners cannot, and they can't. They really struggle to compete with the bigger miners, and a lot of them are forced to sell Bitcoin, right? So we're seeing a little slight dip right now with the hash rate, which means there are some miners that are definitely turning off their mining rigs and possibly selling, right? But this is only a zoomed in chart. When you zoom out, you'll just see like a hash rate that just does this. Same thing with difficulty, that just does this. No, it does not mean the miners are giving up. Does not mean the Bitcoin network is going to stop anytime soon. No, it just means that this is a really hard time. A lot of people forgot that we just got through a halving event just 2 months ago. It wasn't like the halving event was last year. So there will be periods like this where some miners do struggle and they're forced to sell because they need the money to survive, basically, or to expand their operations or buy more equipment. That seems the most like the most logical thing that's going on right now. That's why even with the massive inflows going into the ETFs, it's being countered by the miners. But you know what? That's going to be over soon, okay? Because eventually when Bitcoin picks up again, these smaller miners are going to be more profitable and they're not going to need to sell off. You may be wondering, well, that doesn't look like our current chart. Our current chart, where's the 16,000, all that stuff? No, this is just after the halving event, okay? So this is not showing the full effect of the last cycle going down, and then now we're recovering up, and we've broken through, right? This is just showing you what happens after the halving event from our previous cycles. Now, if you know nothing about Bitcoin and you're just a random bystander and you're looking at this and you're asked, is this a good time to be investing in Bitcoin? What would your answer be? Because I know what mine would be. Mine would be yes, hell yes. This is absolutely the best time to be investing in Bitcoin because it is right before it starts going up in a parabolic way. That is exactly where we are. That's exactly where we are. This is, of course, zoomed out, so it's going to take a little bit of time. But once it starts moving, it's not going to stop. It's just going to keep on going. So that's the thing. It's like right now, no one should be bearish. No one should be panicking because look at where we are in the cycle. Now that we're past the halving event, we still have a lot of catalysts for this year. And the best part is, this is not the last year of the cycle. 2025 is. So everything from this year, as great as it has been, is going to get even greater. So that's what's so exciting about right now. We do have dips, a lot of dips, all the time on our way up. Like this example, our current cycle is mimicking the 2017 cycle very, very closely, which means the higher we go, the more dips we're going to see. And we just got through a pretty significant dip. I think it was 25% going down to 56,000, right? We have recovered from that and we are going to go higher. Once we hit 80 and 90K, we may have another 20-something% dip. Once we break through 100,000 plus, yeah, we're going to have more dips. So bottom line is these dips are normal and you got to think of them as gifts. Okay. It's hard to buy something when it keeps on going up forever. So anytime Bitcoin stops, consolidates, dips down, that's when you should look at it as a gift. This is how I'm going to get into Bitcoin, or this is how I'm going to get into Solana, or this is how I'm going to get into Ethereum, right? With the dips, think of them as gifts because a lot more gifts are coming. If you want to comment on anything I've said in this video, make sure you head over to the Roundtable. The Roundtable is a new social media platform created for conversations. And best of all, it's spam-free, bot-free, unlike here on YouTube. And you could have conversations with me and others like Altcoin Daily, Scott Melker, Mauro Nafal, and many others are joining daily. And you also get rewarded in tokens for doing so. So check out the new Roundtable. Click the link in the description below.